Very quickly, just as we get going, Flighton, thank you so much for the Prime sub for the 9 months as well. Welcome back. All right. Group B of WardiTV 2021 continues. One last series today. That's another between the top titans of the group, TY and Reynor. TY bottom left, red Terran. Reynor top right, blue Zerg. And of course, as they go up against each other, the standings in the group right now, we don't really know where TY is at. We know he's 2-0. He's still got to play against Harston. But Reynor is 3-0, so a win here for Reynor guarantees him first place in this group straight to the round of 8. A win for TY would kind of put Reynor's first place opportunity in the hands of Harston, being able to beat TY and to take him out of, take a match off of him. So this is kind of likely to be a scrap for first place in the group right now. So this is likely to be a scrap for first place in the group. Based on whoever wins this, you would imagine they are going to become the one to kind of take the top dog spot. TY and Reynor, I feel like, TY really struggles against the, TY really struggles against a lot of the European Zergs. Now I say a lot of, I mean Reynor and Serral. Because I was talking about this when TY played Serral recently, and it's actually crazy when you look at the results of TY against Serral, because they're just not as close as you would expect them to be. Like, Serral just consistently seems to have TY's number. TY Reynor, I'm not sure if it's exactly the same situation. I'm going to have a little look right here. They're 4-4 in maps, 1-2 in matches, with Reynor being favored. So, they actually first time played in 2020, and that was in the WardiTV Spring Championship, where Reynor got 3-0'd by TY. I actually remember that series. It started off with a really cool match, and it just went downhill from there. Reynor just could not get stabilized in the series at all. Then Reynor won a game in the War Chest Team League, and Reynor also won in the season finals round of 8 for fall last year as well. So, been a little while since TY and Reynor played. Yeah, I feel like TY really struggles against Serral. Maybe, just hasn't played Reynor enough to really make a judgment on that one to make something happen. That SCV just died of slow links, guys. I know, I saw that too. That was obviously not really meant to happen. That's not how things are meant to go. So poor SCV going down early, and TY hopefully not on tilt. I know a lot of players here just like, that's the moment where if this was like, we had webcams on the players and stuff, that's the moment where TY's just face just goes, oh really? He's just like, why this game? The game when I'm playing against Reynor, one of the top Zergs in the world, why does it have to be now I lose an SCV? I need everything I can get against him, right? Like, what have I done? Here's the question. There's a couple of Hellions on the way out, and they are going to be supported by a medevac that is producing as well. That's going to pop out, and I wouldn't mind, and a few Marines can jump into that medevac and start to go across the map very shortly. Marines show up, they're going to take down the Overlord, and that's going to be a supply block for Reynor. He loves to try and scout at this stage of the game, so doesn't get much info, actually. He doesn't realize it's going to be a Widowmine Marine drop with Hellion support, so he's a little bit in the dark as to what this is, and now a Banshee on the follow-up as well. Kind of similar to how Clem was trying to play some of the games against Reynor a little bit earlier on as well in our broadcast, so that's actually kind of cool, and that's going to be intriguing to see how it plays out. And how Reynor's defense looks right now, it feels like he's not building much defense. He has got 15 Lings and 5 Queens on the map as Hellions go diving for these drones. They were kind of stacked up, and Hellions starting to hit the Queens as well. Now the Marines unload. The Widowmine doesn't do much. It gets cleaned out, and only 4 Marines left. So it doesn't seem like a lot will come out of this in the end. As we boost back up through the top side. And the Marines just going to go unloading. And the drone's just taking a little bit of damage. And Banshee and Cloak on the way. The Queen here going to put some more damage onto the medevac in the upper right. So that medevac takes just a little bit more damage for now. Just going to be seen again. The Banshee just going to wait for a buddy before moving across the map at all. All right, well, pretty well defended really by Reynor, right? He loses 3 drones, but he shut this down. He didn't get the medevac kill, sure, but it's also one of those things where, are you always going to get the medevac kill? No, not really. You know, 9 times out of 10, you're not meant to be able to get this. If you get this, it's generally a mistake by TY, allowing Reynor to capitalize on it. As the medevac and Marines pull back down the right. Lair is on the way up here from Reynor, and the carapace upgrade is coming through on the evolution chamber. A couple of extra racks on the main base, and all of these Hellions continue to join up together. With a few Marines continuing out as well. So bringing these few Marines out and across. Just going to be seeing the a little bit of creep. Cactus getting shut down too. Racks and engineering base ball behind this as well. So TY again just continue to build up and really just try and find new openings with Hellions and Marines, just trying to see if there's anything that can be done. Of course, he's got these Banshees that are about to strike. Reynor does have Spore Crawlers already, so he will not be caught completely unawares. He will have some defense established against this. And as the first drone goes down, now the Banshees move into the main base, where they are going to go and try and find a little bit more. Going to find 2 more kills right there, and going to find a couple more still. The Banshee's still healthy, and of course, while one-shotting, they really can just kind of, you know, jump in, take a shot back away a few times over. So no surprise to see them continuing to do, or continue to have pretty decent success with this in general right now. As 8 workers killed, good harassment done. Stainless speed is on the way up, and Reynor is going to get into that Ling Bane style. Not sure yet what his follow-up is going to be, if he's going to try and play a Hydra 10. Doesn't feel like a Spire. Usually if you're going to go Spire, you put the Spire down right away. So it does sort of feel more like a Hydra 10 than anything else if we go Hydra 10. Of course, it could be Ling Bane into Hive and Ultras, but that style really is outdated. Even if it's just Ling Bane into Hive and the first thing you build off Hive is Lurkers, that's kind of more of a composition than anything else, right? Instead of it being Ling Bane Hydra, it kind of is just Ling Bane Lurker. Like, yes, you've got to go Ling Bane Hydra to go Ling Bane Lurker, but you just don't build that many Hydras. Again, the emphasis is more on just, oh, I'm going to get up to Lurkers here, rather than, oh, I've got a bunch of Hydras in my mid-game army. I'm using those. I'm fighting with them. And now I transition into Lurkers. My army moving around. As Ling is going to go on the counter-attack. They are going to find a single SCV here. Tank and a few Marines are going to stand their ground. Is actually going to get quite a few Lings as they try and leave up the top side. So TY doing pretty well at cleaning up this army. Getting a good few kills to start him off. And now continuing out over to the right. Going to be seeing this Hellion Marine medevac force making its way up towards this hatch. So going to work on the rocks here initially, and we'll put 1 tank behind the rocks. The others are going to siege up very safely, quite far away and very spread out. And just the 1 medevac of Marines to go up to the high ground to harass. You can see that Reynor is ready to strike from this bottom left. We still do have Banshees top right as well, keeping an eye on those on the minimap to see if they make a play. As our Marines are going in for the Queen, and just going to be seeing the medevac going to pull back, go down to the low ground, and just setting these Marines up once again. So Reynor's going to go for this. Bottom right attack comes in first. Now the top left and bottom left. And going to make the play, I think, good enough to clean this out. TY reinforcing, though. Extra Marines showing up. There is the Hydras on the way, by the way, with the Lurk Den and Hive behind this. The Banshees show back up. They will not do much in the slightest. We're going to be working our way through this set of rocks. So working our way through the rocks here. TY going to open this up and continue to push forward. Again, he's 8 racks in it, so really looking to try and win the game off this with his early 8 racks play, but it feels like Reynolds just shut it down and definitely broken some of the initial momentum. I'd say momentum, but TY was pretty slow going with this anyway, right? With the safer siege up. And now Lings are jumping in on reinforcements, so that's already an issue now. Banes are going to jump in on the rest of this army. Only 1 tank sieged up here. Well, TY just gets cleaned out. And without a 4th base or any sort of other follow-up, well, he's just going to GG right now, but I was going to say without a 4th base or any sort of other follow-up, it's going to be a difficult game to play. And he's just going to leave the game right there. The 8 racks did not work, and Reynor shuts it down. He's been very good at that lately. The 8 racks have been very much so less effective against Reynor and Cyril. They've been really good at shutting these attacks down. And you see Clem oftentimes 8 racks and then very quickly trying to transition out if he realizes it's not going his way. That's something we're starting to see a bit more of lately, honestly. GG's. Reynor just going to take top right corner of Oxide, our blue Zerg player, who is able to take the lead. Starts up 1-0 in the best of 3. This is Reynor. Up against the red Terran down in the bottom left-hand side of the map. Give it up if you're cheering on our boy TY. Down a game. Yeah, and again, a scrap that I think is truly going to decide the outcome of this group, honestly. I think it's going to very much so sort of tell us how this group is going to be laid out. And what it's going to be looking like at the end of it all, so... I'm excited to see what comes out of this exactly, as we have SCV's building, Overlord moving around, and obviously no proxies or anything just yet. TY last game, I mean, inventive with the builds, right? And definitely have seen in general Terran players have been a lot more free with their builds as of late. I've had a few different ways of opening, a few different styles of playing. It's fun, you know. I always feel like it's interesting to see the TvZ openers develop and to see people moving away from 3cc again to go for a little bit more aggression. This time, a lot of Marine drops have been very popular. All that kind of stuff. By the way, it's actually guaranteed that this pretty much is a scrap for first place in the group. So as I was saying pretty much before, but it is because TY because okay, so Harsum is guaranteed. Harsum can't take over Clem, and so Clem is already guaranteed to be third place in the group. Now, Clem might be able to rise up to second place. If TY loses this and TY lost against Harsum, it's possible that Clem has a better map score and so he gets second. But Clem is guaranteed to advance, so it's already guaranteed Reynor, TY, and Clem will advance from this group as it stands. So this really is the scrap of if TY wins, he's probably first place. If Reynor wins, he's absolutely first place. So, yeah, I know this is basically what I said before, but it's just looking at the scores and the Wikipedia being updated, and it seems that that is absolutely apparent to the current situation, and I can say it with more certainty, you know. Before I was like, oh, maybe. Now, no, absolutely is. So, let's see how it plays out. A couple of Marines down here. Gonna go in, and First Ling's already in some trouble. Marines pulling back, and we'll use the Marines on the high ground to help. As the Marines pulling away there. A few of those Lings going down. Well handled here so far. Stim back on the way early. It's a 2-on-1 from TY, and kind of just a regular 2-on-1 as well. And, you know, nothing strange about it. 2 racks, factory, starport, everything's lining up. It's not a third CC into this. It's just a 2-on-1, so TY going to open up with the aggression. And really look to put the pressure on Reynor in these early stages. Metron will go down at the front. Victor drones on the way out, and just going to be seeing our link speed is going to be coming through, going to be finishing in a few moments. Oh, it's a Rotron early from Reynor. Is he going to add on? How aggressive is this Rotron right now? I don't know if it's necessarily looking to be super aggressive here from Reynor. He's taking a third gas, so it is fairly likely. And he's got 200 gas, so yeah, maybe it is. He's droning, though, actually. So he's going to go past the 39 drones, so it looks like he's just going to play defensive roaches. You know, this map is actually a very popular one for Zergs to just play roach styles on. We see a lot of Zerg players that try and make roach sort of builds work on this map and that kind of stuff. So yeah, 6 roaches and a queen on the way. And we might just see him go into double Evo chamber in like a 1-1 missile upgrade timing or something along those lines. That's the sort of thing that you see a lot on Oxide. Again, Zergs really like to play something aggressive here. It's very much so a Terran map. That's something we discuss a lot on this one. So something that can kind of end the game earlier without being completely all in is the preference that they take, or something that they can sometimes take a lead with and then transition out of. As the other way to look at it, as these medevacs are gonna boost on out. Right down the same to the center of the map. He's coming through. Roach is in a bit of trouble, and just going to be seeing the Roach is trying to fight the Marines. I'm just going to be seeing our medevacs loading up, and just going to be pulling back over to the right-hand side. My combat shield, our +1 attack upgrade coming through. 3rd CC is setting up. So 3 CC behind this. Honestly, I mean, you kill a few Roaches, you lose a few Marines. It's okay. Like, I mean, a lot of the time the 2-on-1 here is really just designed to try and keep creep back and slow the Zerg down a bit more so than win games, obviously. Now, because this is just a single... So, what's interesting to me about this, the follow-up, is a single engineering bay, not double, but still 3 CC. Like, the single engineering bay sort of screams, oh, I'm going to go for a timing, I'm going to go for an attack. And yet, the 3 CC obviously screams, let's macro up, let's get my economy going, let's transition into the next stage of the game. So, which is it? TY, what are we really looking for here? Yeah, I'm not really too sure. Like I say, I don't think he's necessarily looking at me. I mean, I think it's just going to be it's obviously like a more aggressive stance while still having a transition behind it, right? That's the way this is going, as our medevacs move out over to the far right-hand side. Going to boost up to the top. Marine's going to unload, tanks do siege, and just going to be moving in as our aggression kicks off. So into the main, the lair is going to take a lot of damage. Drones are taking a beating as well. Larry's going to go down. What a drop from TY. Straight up just kills the main base. Okay, gives up a couple tanks for it, but Reynor was not ready for that in the slightest. And TY makes a hell of a play to come out on top there. Marine's going to unload, and we do see more Roach Ravager still down in the center. Marine's going to go in, Lings chasing those units away. And now just going to be seeing the Marines going to come back up. Cancels the 4th base again. This drop is becoming a real issue. The problem is there's no way to shut down this drop apart from what? Queens? That's your only anti-air. Medevac's going to hang around to the right. Just going to be seeing Roaches, Carapace. All of this setting up with the +1 armor coming through on the engineering bay. Armor and engineering bay still coming up. Roach Ravager back over the left-hand side. A lot of SCVs going down as Reynor does counter those, so he gets some damage done on the return. I mean, this game is going to start going back and forth a little bit, huh? Well, we're just going to be seeing the 3rd base having to lift off and backing away. Roaches continuing down, and just going to be seeing our medevacs being chased out down the bottom. Got some missiles coming up, Lair coming through, and an attempt to rebuild the 4th hatchery. So Reynor is settling back down on 65 drones. He's resettling in this game. That was definitely a little bit rough. Was not looking pretty to begin with, was it? Impressive turnaround, actually. I mean, the counter-attack and getting a bunch of SCVs and forcing the CC to lift off is great. The problem still stands is that he's on Roach Ravager with low upgrades. He's switching towards Banelings now, but Roach Ravager is not the best composition. And you look at the army supplies like, wow, Reynor is so far ahead. But no, in reality, for Roach Ravager, that's kind of just typical. So don't be fooled by what the supplies say right now. When he switches to Banes and he has a higher Baneling count in an army, and he's this far ahead on supply, yes, then you can get excited. Right now, I would say TY is still in a reasonable position here. 3rd CC's back to mining. It's going to be seeing our medevacs coming back down the right, and the Roach Ravager just looking to try and jump in on the medevacs there once again, as we do see the bio top left. Going to grab a couple of the OVs. Reynor still staying maxed out. I mean, TY just threatening drops more than anything, right? Medevac's over on that right side. The Medevac in the center on a bit of a patrol. Got Marine tank out on the bottom, just sat waiting in case Reynor gets aggressive. Reynor just happy to tech up, though. Takes the infestation pits. Melee and +2 carapace on the way. Yeah, just really making the switch over into the banelings, right? Banelings speed is going to be done in the near future as well, as these Ravagers going to pile, and they find a Medevac, but there's only so many Marines that actually one Medevac going down doesn't really affect things here. So it's still a nice catch, don't get me wrong. As he finished up 2-2 as TY, is there some potential for timing here, right? That's maybe the next big thing, because he's on 2-2 against 1-1 for quite a while. There is possible he's going to start moving out. I mean, a fight might really just favor him massively here, while he's ahead on the carapace and the attack upgrades. And he's got the best thing is he's got a huge window to hit this in. About a 75, 80 second window before +2 carapace is done right now, so he's got a long time to make this fight happen and to get into a position that he can work with. And that's good because he kind of needs it, because you can see the creep spread so far forward here. He's already having to kind of slow it down as he starts to trade out with some of the Roach Ravager. We'll have to be careful as the extra banelings start showing up. There's a drop up in the top right, so those Medevacs have been waiting for a while. They finally get to make that play, but again with the upgrades, they're going to start trading pretty okay against the Roaches, so these Roaches will get the cleanup, but it still costs you all those Roaches, and that maybe is just a little bit extra, forcing, you know, Reynor to spend a bit more money. Tank's going to see as the Roach Ravager is setting up, and you have our bio coming through. A few Banes clipping in and clipping onto a few of the Marines, the Marauder. Still pushing into the top side. The Queen goes down. The Hatchery maybe in a bit of trouble. Still some army out in the center, and the Medevac pulling back to everything else. Banes crash through, but not for any sort of anything kind of huge or major. TY maintains this position, Reynor. It's a struggle to get rid of it, because every time you fight, you're attacking into a lot of well-positioned tanks here. Banes come flanking in. They kind of run past the rest of the army. They don't hit anything, though. So all the Banes just go down. Again, power of the upgrades to kill those Banelings off as as this game goes along, before they can connect. It's massive. So being able to, those upgrades are really starting to show just how good they are right now as we move on through. The bio still splitting up a little bit, and Reynor just does not have the supply. He actually has money, but he doesn't actually have the lava to spend to save himself here. And now he's going to have Banelings that have just morphed in. Can they save the day? Trying to push TY back. And TY pulls back, but only to split. He keeps on going. And what a push from TY to win this game. Like, wow, actually. That was kind of crazy, guys. This 2-2 timing push just never stopped. And TY, this is when it moved out, and 2 minutes later he wins the game. Honestly, I look at this right now, and if you tell me TY wins in 2 minutes, I can see it's possible, but I still don't think it's like the most likely outcome. With Bane speed being done, I know he's on an upgrade lead, but there is just so much money in the bank of Reynor. But he traded well enough that he forced all that lava out already as Lings, and then this drop in the main forcing some damage too. Yeah, really just well played by TY. These tanks were absolute MVPs. They picked up so many kills throughout the entirety of these engagements, right? That was a big part. Like, these Banes as well, I don't know what they were doing just running past like that. That was crazy. These tanks have like 8, 10, 14 kills on them. I mean, this was just a bad fight, right? Those Banes really did nothing. The Ravagers obviously are exposed now. Army on the top side didn't break through. GG's, guys. That's going to tie us up 1-1, TY. Let's go straight into game number 3, guys. No reason to hold this up at all. As we get this underway, it is one last map of the day. In the top left-hand side, our blue Terran player. Give it up if you're cheering on TY. Up against the red Zerg in the bottom right-hand side. Reynor was up 1-0. Kind of just got overwhelmed in that last game. I get it. Like, TY did a lot early game to take the lead and to really put himself in a good position, especially in stuff like upgrades. While Reynor kind of did a good job army-wise, he was lacking upgrades, right? There was reasons he was, able to stay up in the army, and that was because he, negated things and delayed things, such as the upgrades, that then allowed TY to get back in the game later. So, a cool set of games that have played out so far, with one final map to see who really just comes out on top of this group, really, more than anything else. Kind of awesome that all the TY, Reynor, Clem games have all gone to 3 maps as well. Really awesome. All right. TY on his openings as well, staying kind of on the aggressive side of things. 2-on-1 aggressive, Marine drop with Hellions aggressive. Not really sitting back, not really being passive, really bringing the fight to Reynor in these early stages of the game. Let's see if he will move forward, and just going to be seeing the scout across the map from TY as Reynor just going to go up to the top with the Overlords. And second Overlord just sitting out the front, really waiting for any SCVs that might move forward, but I think that's long gone now. So he should be moving this into at least this high ground pillar or something. And we'll just take that forward third hatchery that is also popular here in TvZ or ZVT in Europe. I think a lot of the Koreans started to really catch on to this forward third hatchery as well. You know, it used to be more of just a European thing. Now it's very much so a Korean thing as well. Like, everybody just kind of does it. Everybody realizes it's good. It's going to be seen our command center is about halfway done, as we just have this opening is a hell of a way to build. 3cc and into 2-on-1 behind it. So the 2-on-1 3cc, it's obviously got similarities to the last game, but it is going to be off of a better economy, so TY will immediately just be in a position where he doesn't need to do as much with the 2-on-1. Of course, it will be difficult to do as much because you're also going to be building into it a little bit later on because you invested into the third command center. Reynor's going to have the Overlord here, and TY will see the OV for a split second. The OV doesn't actually commit forward, so you don't get to pick up too much info there just yet. We'll see if TY can stop this Overlord before it sees the third CC. Might be nice if it sees a third CC. I mean, the thing is, though, nowadays 2-on-1 builds are pretty popular after 3cc, so it's not like you're like, oh, 3cc, I'm safe, it's 3cc. Okay, well, if he is going to be aggressive, it's going to be at least just a little bit later, but not much, you know, not much more kind of negligence to it than that from Reynor, typically. Gets supply blocked off that Overlord loss, though, which is a little silly. As you just have the double queens and lings out the front there, just going to go and wrap around a set of rocks over here. So again, we talked about this in the Clem series, but clearing out these rocks really just opens up the game, and it really just removes a lot of the Terran pushes that can be very powerful with siege tanks, etc. So you just take that out of the equation right away and make life a lot easier for yourself as the game develops. So Stimpak coming up, going to be done soon. Factory's going to move up the reactor for the starport to take it instead. I'm just going to be seeing the double engineering bays are on the way out also. So just going into that set of upgrades very early. Everything about this from TY is great. You know, when he went 2-on-1 last time, the difference was that he went 2-on-1 with a... he went 2-on-1, and then the follow-up was a single engineering bay, and he went into aggression from there, right? And this one, with the double engineering bay, will just be that little bit less aggressive, a little bit more kind of future-proofing of the game, right? Gives you that follow-up, gives you that transition into the later stages, into the later game. So again, very different to what we saw last time around. Kings and Queens do have their surround on this set of rocks. They're going to knock this down, and again, just make sure, like I said before, those tank pushes of the Terran player are not going to be all that powerful in these scenarios, so making sure that's going to be alright as the evolution chamber number 2 is on the way up here from Reynor. There's a drop in the main base, so here's our first 2-on-1 arriving and already shutting down a spore, and this is always such a dangerous place to be in because they have the minerals to choke up on, and so if you get choked in the minerals, then the lings just don't get us around, and then you just trade very well. This is probably best case from Reynor. 2 drones, a slide drone pull, and an extractor. That's actually really kind of not so bad considering the position he was in there. As now TY was looking for an overlord, but Reynor was quick to get there. I tell you what is big though, because TY is going aggressive into the main, The creep on the map has not been slowed down at all. It's everywhere. It's making really good progress across to the other side. So that's going to be an issue for TY later on. He's going to start bringing some Marine tank around the top here, as Lings are going to go through the center. So maybe TY can collect all of this together for a bit of a push. Then Reynor kind of realizes what's up. This army moves on creep, but he also saw the medevacs up here turn to the right. So he knew something at least was heading in this direction, as he's going to find the first few banelings. Bane speed is not done just yet. It's not too far off, though. And he does already have Carapace upgrade. The Carapace early against a Marine-focused opener is a very common way to go, a very common way to open. It's not too many surprises on that. As the Marines and the tanks are going to pick away through the rocks, Lings are going to continue over to the top left side where, I mean, that's a deeper wall, but what about this wide open area here? Well, that's what TY realizes is a problem, so he pulls back to deal with it. This is 8 racks, so we are going to be seeing TY continuing to push forward with the 8 racks. Now, Reynor delaying the Spire. We'll see if he wants to delay the mutas at all, if he recognizes that it is 8 racks. He saw 1 racks here, so he might have picked up on it. And if he has, he probably just won't build mutas yet, because the mutas don't do that much against the 8 racks. They're a heavy investment. Like, yeah, they're great at picking off tanks in the background, but they're a huge investment for when the Terran is really just barreling down on you with this entire army. Marines pushing through, creep spread going down, and the Ceiling Bane starting to roll forward here. The Marines going to lift up, and medevacs will bring them away. Two new medevacs spotted immediately as Reynor spots this out on the left-hand side, sees what is going on. So immediately you know what's up over there. As do see our Lings running around this bottom side. Mauling Bane up through the middle of the map. 11 more Marines producing. Liberators on the way out. I'm just going to be seeing TY continue to pull back to the center now, as our Ling Bane army will come out through the bottom. Our medevac going to unload into the back of the main base. And our Marines going forward, going to clean up a whole bunch of creep spreads. They're going to go for the Queens in the front lines as well. So, going to be going for a lot of that, as we do see. I mean, the 2-2's on the way as well, remember. So TY does have that to help him out, alongside Liberator production, which is now underway. So I think that's going to be a pretty big deal, as the mutas will get the medevac in the corner. There's a lot of units of TY coming out across the map. With 2-2 kicking in, I mean, there is 2 Carapace on the Reynor units, but he is missing the melee. He in the end went to mutas. I think in this case you do have time to go to mutas. It's not like TY was constantly pressing. So he definitely got the gap to build the mutas, and I think that's good. 88 workers here, maxed out Reynor. It's a question of, is TY's army supply going to be enough to overwhelm, and then to overwhelm well enough that he can overcome the economy as well. There's already 1.5k minerals in the bank here from Reynor. So he's already got money to work with. He's losing some mutas, and this hatchery taking a lot of damage. TY will now pull back as the Ling Bane comes in. Some of the Banes from the right side, the rest from the bottom left. TY's playing back. Units from the top side. It's only Lings, though, and they get obliterated by the Marines. The rest of the Lings have to pull away from this. Liberators are left standing. There's not a lot of tanks left over, but TY has a 40 army supply lead coming out of this on the other side, and can now continue to push on forward. And I just don't think this Banelings ready. 21 Banelings morphing, but TY is not going to let Reynor get the Banelings before he does serious damage. He takes down the hatch, and he's going to set up a siege position on this ramp. So if you do bring the Banes in, they're going to be moving through Liberators and tank fire and all sorts. So it's going to be a nightmare to really get on top of this army. Here we go. The Banes just finished morphing. There was some on the right side as well. They crash in. They connect on Marines. TY splitting back, though, still has Marines left over. And I think TY has done it as he pushes through. Evo Chambers going down. The Overlords on the left side. Some drones in some trouble. Mutas continuing to fall as well. And I do think that this is just a done deal. GG from Reynor. TY takes it down 2-1. The 2-2 time with the 8 racks works out in the end. Some Liberator support and some fantastic fights to close this game and this series out. TY will top this group, unless a disaster happens.